Hello, welcome to Granada Reports, live across the northwest.
Hello, on the programme this evening.
Approved and ready to be rolled out, the world's first COVID pill that can be taken at home, which was trialled on patients here in the northwest.
It kills the virus, and therefore the patients do not deteriorate, and therefore they do not end up in hospital or dying.
We'll be finding out a lot more about the drug molnupiravir very soon.
Also tonight.
It's frustrating that every time, every day, every moment of the day, there's someone around the corner trying to break us down, trying to put us down.
Yet another hate crime. Police investigate the damaging artwork in Liverpool after a series of homophobic attacks in the city.
As global leaders are in Glasgow talking about saving the planet, we're in a container glass factory in Cheshire, finding out how the Northwest is hoping to be world leaders when it comes to decarbonisation.
The best mates who wowed the celebs at the Pride of Britain Awards. We'll hear what Huey and Freddie made of it very soon.
And a spectacular sight in the skies from the Isle of Man last night. More of your Aurora borealis pictures and your bonfire weekend forecast a little later on.
So our top story, the world's first antiviral pill for COVID-19 that could be taken at home, which was trialled here in the northwest, has been approved for use in the UK.
Yeah, Granada Reports had exclusive access when the drug was first given to a patient at the Royal Preston Hospital. It's for people with COVID who are aged over 60 or have an underlying health condition like diabetes, heart disease or obesity.
Well, the drug is called molnupiravir, and the government says it secured 480,000 courses of it. That's after a study found it cuts the rate of hospital admission and death by 50% in mild or moderately ill patients.
A short time ago, we spoke to the medical director for the Lancashire Clinical Research Facility and asked him how important this drug could be.
This drug is a capsule which you take by mouth, and it is used for patients who have early or moderate coronavirus disease or COVID-19 who are not hospitalized. And the trials done, the large trial called the Move Out study, showed that it reduced the rate of hospitalization, it halved the rate of hospitalization, and it reduced the deaths. So this capsule, when taken early, reduces the virus, it kills the virus, and therefore the patients do not deteriorate, and therefore they do not end up in hospital or dying.
It does sound remarkable, Doctor, and just so we're absolutely clear, this is treatment for people with COVID. This is not a vaccine.
This is not a vaccine. I want to send a message across that the treatment for coronavirus or COVID-19 is multifaceted, and this is not an excuse for people not to get vaccinated. So the drive to have everybody vaccinated, including having their booster vaccinations, remains very important.
Now, this was trialled at the Royal Preston Hospital thanks to people who had the courage to take the drug even before we knew what the impact was. What do you say about those people?
To a certain extent, they would not know whether they would benefit, in that the trial randomizes the patient 50-50 to the active drug or to an inactive molecule called placebo. So it's the goodwill of the patients that is giving us data that is allowing drugs like this to be approved and to the benefit of everybody else.
And will your team have a small celebration? I know you're all very busy.
It's good news, particularly for the population of the UK, which is suffered really over the last 2 years. I am an oncologist, and people, have suffered, and you have to give the dues to the UK public for being very, very vigilant on the whole and putting up with the regulations and the lockdowns. So between the vaccinations, this drug, and a number of other measures that are being taken, hopefully we will be able to start having some hope that we can beat this virus.
Well, Doctor, it's been really great talking to you. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you to your team for the work that you do and the work that you continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, next tonight, and 2 pieces of artwork created after a series of homophobic attacks in Liverpool have been vandalised within days of going on display.
Yes, the pieces called Hate Has No Place in Liverpool and Queer with No Fear were ripped down. Merseyside police say this vandalism is yet another hate crime, which the artwork was put up to highlight.
Tim Scott has this report.
They were supposed to be a celebration of Liverpool's LGBT+ community. The 2 works of art specially commissioned for the city's Homophobic festival. But within days of going up, they were vandalised.
We claim to be a tolerant city, but it takes a few individuals to do something like this that shows actually that's not the case, and that there are still people out there who are who want to basically vandalise and tear stuff down.
It's just frustrating. It's just leave us alone to be who we are.
Kalade Ladipo was the victim of a homophobic attack in Liverpool earlier this year. He says people like the vandals need their bigotry to be challenged.
It does come down to education and unlearning. People need to unlearn all the misogyny, all the hatred, all the homophobia. They need to unlearn all of that sort of stuff, because that is what is creating these environments for them to think that it's allowed to do that sort of stuff.
Ben Uden is one of the artists whose work was torn down at the Fact Arts Centre on Wood Street.
It's disappointing. It is disappointing. I wouldn't say I was emotionally affected, but it was disappointing. But I'll be honest, it wasn't a surprise, unfortunately. It's unfortunately symptomatic of rife homophobia in the city and elsewhere, but we're specifically talking about Liverpool, aren't we?
Plans may be underway to replace those artworks, but this whole episode throws up questions about just how inclusive our cities are of the LGBT+ minorities, and just how safe do those minorities feel walking these city streets. Do LGBT+ people in Liverpool feel safe?
No. Not all the time, and not in every space, and particularly not in the city centre around this area of Liverpool we're in now, in Ropes Walks.
We've been told the artworks are going back up, bigger and better, but the vandalism has shone a light on the prejudice and bigotry that many in our LGBT+ communities continue to endure. Tim Scott, ITV News, Liverpool.
That's sad to see. Now, next, a student from Blackburn who survived the Westminster Bridge terror attack is hoping sharing his experience will help stop more people being radicalised. Travis Frayne was 19 when he was hit head-on by a car driven by Khalid Massoud, who then went on to stab a police officer to death and kill 4 other pedestrians. 4 years on, Travis has launched a new website where people affected by terror attacks around the world have shared their stories.
If all of us offering our stories and our time and our effort to record these testimonies, if that stops just one person from being radicalised, just one, the effect that person being radicalised and then committing an attack could have had an entire community rebounds tenfold. So it will have been worthwhile if we can just stop one person.
There's a warning against aggression towards medical staff working to help patients in East Lancashire. The trust, which runs the Royal Blackburn and Burnley General Hospitals, says the unit is under extreme pressure and is asking people only to come to A&E if absolutely necessary. Doctors say services are being overwhelmed.
People are losing that tolerance, and there has been incidents of aggressiveness towards the NHS staff. This is not what we are, and this is what we don't want to see. Be kind to the staff who is looking after you. Be patient with them.
And the puppet Little Amal received an emotional welcome in Manchester last night as she completed her epic journey across Europe. Thousands gathered at Castlefield Bowl in the city to welcome the giant puppet of a Syrian refugee. She represents the millions of displaced children who've been forced to leave their homeland.
Now, while all eyes have been on the COP26 summit in Glasgow, climate change is still very much top of the agenda here in our region.
Yes, a special event has been taking place in Runcorn in Cheshire to discuss ways of harnessing our natural resources and creating a joined-up low-carbon transport network to connect towns and cities. Our correspondent Mel Barham reports.
The North West is one of the biggest carbon emitters in the UK. A huge concentration of manufacturing and chemical production means we produce 40 million tonnes of carbon dioxide every year. But as global leaders meet in Glasgow to talk about saving the planet, today in Runcorn the region was holding its very own climate conference, with the North West talking up plans to go from villain to hero and lead the way in a new green industrial revolution.
One of the reasons why I think we're able to do that is because, one, we've got a vision. Secondly, we've actually got the skills. And thirdly, we've got the ability and the desire to work together.
Those plans involve harnessing new innovations and technologies, from carbon capture and electric vehicles to wind and hydrogen power. Here at this glass container factory in Cheshire, they make 2 billion bottles a year. They're just one example of an industry here leading the way in decarbonisation. Glass is a pretty environmentally friendly product. It's a natural material, it's endlessly recyclable, and it doesn't contain any plastic. But there is a downside. It's carbon intensive to produce. The furnaces here use natural gas, a fossil fuel. There are big plans to change all that. And that is down to hydrogen, a new form of energy that scientists are getting really excited about because it's clean to produce and transport.
What we do is replace as much of that gas as possible with hydrogen, and also look at how we can convert hydrogen to electricity to power furnaces in the future. There's lots of work to be done, but we believe it's possible, and possible as soon as the middle of this decade.
Tidal power too is something the North West is hoping to lead the way on with its Mersey Tidal project.
This area is blessed with one of the largest tidal ranges, not only in the UK but in the world. You know, we've got spring tides going up to 10, 11 metres, so the potential energy available from that is not insignificant.
This diverse mix of projects, which are really only happening here in the North West, gives the North West a kind of unique selling point. And what we want to do today is to make sure that investors understand what a great opportunity the North West presents.
And that will be key to reaching those net zero targets. Not only will it require the ambition and action, but also money. Mel Barham, ITV News, Cheshire.
And there's lots more COP26 coverage on our website. And talking of lots, there's lots still to come on the programme.
A treat for rockers everywhere. Iron Maiden frontman Bruce Dickinson's heading to the region with a very special one-man show.
And yes, we had views of that Aurora borealis, the northern lights, across the region overnight last night. Plenty of greens and pinks from the Isle of Man and also from Cumbria. A big thank you for sharing your shots. Granada.weather@itv.com, and also on our website a few more of your pictures from the Isle of Man. The forecast going ahead for tonight is actually really quite favourable under any drier, clearer conditions. Continued possibility of aurora sightings for northern England, and I'll have your full forecast a little later on.
That Iron Maiden made you sit up and listen. Now, obviously, we hope you tune in to ITV every night, but tonight's even more special than usual because, of course, it's the night the Pride of Britain Awards hits our screens.
It's the night the nation says thank you to the unsung heroes in communities across the country for the difference they make to our lives. Like Granada's own winner, Sarah Parsons, who raised thousands of pounds for cuddle cots to comfort parents of stillborn children.
Well, tonight the show has a new look. Host Carol Vorderman is joined by Ashley Banjo from the dance group Diversity. And normally we're not supposed to reveal too much about the awards in advance.
But tonight we can tell you about two winners from our region, best friends Hughie Higginson and Freddie Javi from Burnley.
They've raised more than £200,000 after Hughie was diagnosed with an aggressive form of leukaemia and promised to do something to thank the doctors and nurses who cared for him at the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital.
He signed up for the hospital charity's fundraising walk, but on the day he was too ill to take part, which is when best pal Freddie stepped up. 11-year-old Freddie devised his own fundraising challenge, running 2K every day in the 50 days leading up to Christmas last year.
He completed the final 2K on Christmas morning before opening his presents. Hughie summoned up all his strength to join his mate on the final stretch so that they could cross the line together hand in hand.
Well, I'm delighted to say their efforts won them the Young Fundraiser of the Year award, and I spoke to them just a few minutes ago when they dropped by. They started by telling us all about their big night.
The whole night was crazy, from right from the beginning all the way through to the end. It was just exciting thing after another exciting thing. It was the best night of our lives.
How was it for you, Freddie?
Yeah, it was really good. Like Huey said, everything there was really exciting. There was nothing that weren't.
And you got to meet so many famous celebs. Who did you meet, and who was a favourite person you met?
We met Sharon Stone.
Interviewed her on the red carpet.
Yeah, we interviewed Sharon Stone on the red carpet. We met David Seaman, Samir Farah, KSI, and they were probably our favourites, Samir and KSI. Yeah, because Freddie loves running, and I love music, so yeah, so it's perfect match.
And Huey, I mean, in your wildest dreams, did you boys think you were going to get such recognition?
Never.
No.
Never. My mum asked me yesterday if somebody said you'd have won a Pride of Britain award, would you have believed them? And I said,
no way.
Never.
No.
Never in a million years. So, and yeah, we have won it, and it's crazy.
You have indeed. And now you've won 2 incredible awards, the Pride of Manchester Awards and now the Pride of Britain Awards. What's next year going to look like for you boys?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we've got we want to do more things for charity. So we're gonna hopefully raise a lot more money for the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital, and the future will bring. Well, we don't know, but something exciting, definitely.
And how are you feeling, Huey? I hear your treatment's going very well.
Yeah, it is. I've been in hospital recently for chemo, and I've actually felt a lot better than I normally have this time round. But yeah, it's going really well, my treatment. I've still got a couple of years left, but it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier stuff, and yeah, it's a lot easier from now on.
Well, boys, it's been fantastic to meet you both in person. Finally, we are so thrilled to bits that you won this awards. Many congratulations to you both. Thank you.
They look very comfortable in these chairs, didn't they?
Bit too comfortable. They'll be after our jobs soon. They were very good, very talented, bright boys. A real pleasure to meet them.
And super smart too, and their mums were very proud of them. Now, it's always an emotional roller coaster. That's the Pride of Britain Awards on ITV tonight at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, get your hankies out. There is lots more information about our region's unsung heroes on our website, where you can also see an interview with co-host Ashley Banjo. Just head to itv.com/Granada.
Now, one of his biggest fans is the manager of Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp. That's not the only reason frontman of the heavy metal band Iron Maiden is heading for the Northwest.
Yes, Bruce Dickinson is bringing his one-man show to Liverpool with stories not just about life as a rock star, but a number of other strings to his bow.
He'll be taking questions from fans at the Philharmonic Hall, so what better way to warm up than have a chat with our very own Anne O'Connor.
I'm Bruce Dickinson, and I sing for Iron Maiden.
But the 63-year-old does so much more than that. Next month, he'll be telling an audience in Liverpool the highlights of a colourful life.
First hour and a half is me effectively talking about how a spotty kid from a mining town in Worksop ends up wearing daft trousers with the biggest heavy metal band in the world and still comes out of it relatively sane, but not too sane.
This outfit, how best to describe it? It's my space lizard outfit.
Part 2 is scripted basically by the audience and by whatever cards they want to write, and I expect a very high quality of comment and question, seeing as Liverpool has got previous on all that.
And they'll hear about his other career.
I was actually a full-time airline pilot and a part-time Iron Maiden singer. I used to ask for unpaid leave to go on tour with a band, and they used to give it to me.
Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp may well be there. He's a fan whose methods have been called heavy metal football.
He is a class act. Just as a manager, you think he says what he thinks, he's straight.
He's an Iron Maiden fan.
And he's an Iron Maiden fan. What's not to love? I flew them to Naples. I didn't know. It was just a job. I went, what's this job? They go, aeroplane empty to Liverpool, go to Naples and go back empty. You're taking Liverpool football team. I went, oh, OK, brilliant.
Bruce's UK one-man show takes in the usually genteel surroundings of the Liverpool Philharmonic. He says the show's a bit naughty, but he's no longer a tour hotel hellraiser.
You can't throw tellies out the window anymore. It's all double glazed and sealed and all the rest of it. I mean, you'd have to put like high explosives around there and blow the windows out.
Anne O'Connor, ITV News, Liverpool.
Well, Anne's more Rick Astley than Iron Maiden, but I think they got on.
I think so. Time now for the weather with Kerry.
Ooh, I love a hot shower, me.
And a minute shorter than usual.
What a legend.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, a very good evening to you. We started off today pretty chilly, but with a good dose of sunshine. Under those clearer skies first thing this morning, only just a couple of degrees above freezing, so a touch of frost in places. But we did see a lot of blue sky and some beautiful autumn light with those leaves. A big thank you to Terry Hamilton for sharing. Now, as we head through closer towards tomorrow night, which of course is officially bonfire night, and many places will be perhaps celebrating on Saturday night. Tomorrow it will be showery and breezy, but Saturday day we've got a spell of rain coming through. It should clear, but leave some pretty windy conditions by the time we reach Saturday evening. So tomorrow, over the area of high pressure, a westerly rather than a northerly, so not as chilly. Then we've got that wet and windy spell coming through Saturday day, and then quite cold and quite blustery as we head into Sunday, but drier and brighter, and then further systems rocking up from the west as we head into Tuesday. So very up and down over the next few days. Over the next few hours, the best of the weather coming through. Dry, clear, quite chilly. Temperatures really quite cold, touch of frost in rural spots. But around 10 or 11 o'clock, the clouds start to approach from the north. So cloudy and damp by the end of the night, misty and murky over the hills, and if anything, those temperatures lifting. Another great Aurora shot taken in Burton in Lonsdale. A big thank you to Andy Ward for sharing. 7:18 and 4:30 are your sun times for tomorrow. So a lot of mist and murk over the hills first thing tomorrow. There will be some showery outbreaks of rain and drizzle throughout the day, but on and off and in between drier, clearer slots. We've got that westerly, so not as chilly. And then as we head towards tomorrow evening, still the risk of a few showers and still quite breezy. And then that wet and windy spell from the northwest during Saturday day.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Oh, hello.
Get him a towel.
Lovely pictures there. Thanks, Kerry. And before we go, a 27-foot high sculpture, which has been touring the country, highlighting the problem of knife crime, is in Lancashire for the first time.
Yeah, these are live pictures of the Knife Angel. It's in situ outside Blackburn Cathedral. It's made from 100,000 knives and other bladed weapons seized by the police or handed in all over the country.
It is a stunning structure with a very serious message, and a vigil's being held there to remember many lives lost.
Remarkable pictures there. Many thanks indeed for watching. That is it for the team here at Granada Reports. As ever, have a great evening. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.